Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Hi, this is Lori Johnson with Hancock Whitney Bank, and you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Visit localleadersthepodcast.com for previous episodes or for information on appearing on the show.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Local Leaders, the podcast. And first of all, before we say anything else today, if you hear a rumbling of thunder or lightning or rain, which you shouldn't hear much of that, but if you do, it's pouring outside, cats and dogs. And so that's what you hear in the background. But I've got a guest sitting across from me, and if you are in the collectibles field, you've probably seen this guy around. He's been around the collecting hobby, I guess you could say, but not a hobby. It's a lifestyle to those of us that do like to collect. For a long, long time. His name is Kevin Keithley, and he is opening a brand new brick and mortar called K&M Collectables. It's going to be in Central Louisiana, which is right outside of Livingston Parish. Everybody from here knows where it's at. And we're going to talk today about the wide array of things that he'll be able to help you out with. It's kind of what I would describe as a hole in the market right now in this community. And so I'm very thankful that he's opening up a brick and mortar that those of us like myself that are enthusiasts of collectibles can go see him. And so we're going to talk about all that today. But first, Kevin, welcome to Local Leaders.
Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you. And when we first talked, I couldn't wait to sit you down and talk to you. It's a hobby, and I keep referring to a hobby, and I hate to do that with coin collecting or currency collecting or even, any type of collecting, stamps, sports memorabilia, any of that, because it's not a hobby to people that are in it. It's more like that's almost an offensive term to people.
It's known
like
as a hobby, though, but it's collecting.
It's collecting, and
it's an investment in your future.
Very, very true, very true. And you have been doing it for a long time. Matter of fact, 45 plus years. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's Let me ask you this before we even get into anything else. So, do you remember back when you first got interested in collecting?
I was probably 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And every birthday and Christmas, my grandfather would give me, coins.
Yeah.
And then, I turned 6 and he was getting ready to pass away. He gave me my first gold coin.
Yeah.
It was a real small, I think it was a half pence or whatever, but it was a gold coin. And I just cherished it. But I love the history of coins.
Yeah.
So that's
that's pretty awesome. He got you gold coins.
All came from my grandfather.
Very good. And look, I preach it all the time to people, but it really is a thing that parents can do with their kids. Mm-hmm. You can pass it down to your kids. It's I guess you could say a pure hobby in that they're learning things. They're learning the value of investing. Right. They're learning how to save. It really teaches them a lot and history. They learn a ton of history in that type of thing.
Yeah, my grandfather was the coins. From my father, I got stamps because he was in the stamp collecting and stuff, the world and U.S. stamps.
Yeah, and so off you went, and it was kind of like in the blood almost, it sounds like, for you. Very, very similar thing with me. I kind of started out with, as a kid with starting a penny collection. And then it just built from there. And as I guess my income increased, so did my interest, which sometimes could be a bad thing. But but it has been something that I've done for quite a while as well.
My first memory of you is at the coin show that I put on in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, Holiday in South.
You bought a raffle ticket and won a gold coin.
Who I know, I
and
couldn't
that
believe
sparked
that.
our friendship.
That's it.
And we've been friends ever since.
Yes, absolutely. And so you really established K&M Collectables back in 2016, around that time frame.
Yes, off and on. Yeah, that's when I really started my main business is coin and currency supplies, K&M Coin and Currency Supplies. That's my parent company. And then, sparking as people was pushing me to open up a store because there was nothing around.
Yeah.
Then I off-branched in the the K&M Collectables.
Yeah. And what I really like about it, and kind of in your early days of that, because I kept track of that, you had really supplies for just about anything you could imagine. You had a great and still have a great website.
Yeah, I carry over 7,500 items.
Yeah, and very well managed, very easy to navigate your website. I actually went back on it yesterday evening preparing for this, and you can order, folks, directly from the website if you're in another area of the country and you're listening. You have eBay stores and all those sorts of things as well.
But for anybody that's local, I do have a coupon code. If you want to order off the website, it will go ahead and complete the order for you, and you can just come by the store and pick it up.
There you go. So if you're impatient like me, so you don't have to wait.
Just place the order, and then at checkout, use coupon code PICKUP.
There you go.
And it won't charge you any shipping.
And we're going to put that in the description of this podcast, so you don't have to write it down if you're driving. Just look in the description when you get home, and you'll see the code. I'm going to put code equals pickup, and you just go order. If you see something online, you don't have time necessarily to drop by, go ahead and order it and use that code, and you can go pick it up straight from K&M Collectables. So we're going to talk about where they're going to be located and all that in just a minute. But tell me a little bit about your family, stuff like that. You grew up, where did you grow up?
I was born in Roanoke, Virginia.
Roanoke, Virginia.
Then moved
so
to Richmond.
Ways away.
Yep. Moved to Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
And when
Civil War country.
And that's another thing that sparked, the currency aspect of it, because that was the capital of the Confederacy. So Confederate notes were abundant up there.
Yeah,
and,
I can imagine.
I had a ton of it all the time.
Yeah.
Down here, it's a little sparse getting it sometimes, but I do get it, but it sells quick.
Yeah, it really does. And becoming more and more scarce as time goes by, for sure. And now you're in Central. How long have you been in Central?
About 14 years.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So a good stint. You're
I'm here to stay.
You're here to stay for sure. And let's talk about a little bit about the nature of your business. So yes, you do coins. Yes, you have currency, as you just mentioned, but you have a lot of other things. Let's put it this way, y'all. If you collect it, there's a good chance he might have it. Stamps, you mentioned that.
Yep.
You have not only stamps, but you have supplies for stamps.
Right, supplies for stamps, sports cards. The biggest thing hot right now is Pokemon, Magic, and D&D.
Yeah.
Dungeon and Dragon stuff. People are, getting back into that.
And let me say this for D&D. To tell you, all these youngsters run around and they talk about D&D, and let me educate you youngsters. I was a youngster playing D&D when it was just a book. It was a little bitty book, and you had 4 or 5 of them, and you had a group of friends, and basically you would just come up with stories out of these D&D books. And I was always the one they'd pick on and take all my power away from me and all that sort of stuff. But I was playing that at 12 years old.
That was the first one that actually sparked off Pokemon and Magic and Digimon and all those that are now. D&D was the original.
D&D was the original, and guaranteed, if you have some of those old original books and stuff like that, there's probably a value to those, I would imagine. I wish I had mine.
I would have to look it up, but I'm sure there is.
Now let's talk about Pokemon for a second. So Pokemon, I can remember from not from when I was a kid, but I can remember it coming up very popular, and so it's still a hot deal. Mm-hmm. Okay, very
They've expanded it, and they say that there's over 40,000 different Pokemon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Different versions of Pikachu and all the Charizard and all those. There's over 40,000 different cards.
Wow. And you probably got close to every one of them.
Nowhere near.
So comic books. Let's talk about that, because comic books are something that have not gone by the wayside and have been around a long time. I mean, since the 30s.
Yeah, I do a lot of Comic Cons around the country. So they set up, sell supplies and stuff. And it's amazing the amount of people that collect comic books and memorabilia that goes with the comic books.
Yeah. And look, some of the most beautiful art you'll ever see is especially, I mean, I'm an old guy, so my stuff goes back to the 70s, but some of those 70s comic books were just, I can remember, I was always a comic book fan when I was a kid. Fantastic Four was my thing way before the movie. You know what I mean? Like I was a big Fantastic Four fan and just really loved that stuff.
I remember in late 70s, mid 70s, the Superman and Batman came out with those big giant treasure books.
Yep.
That was some of their first treasure comics.
Yeah. I used to read Archie comics. Remember those? Loved Archie.
Some
comics.
of those can be worth some money.
Really?
But I mean, with any collectible though, it's all based on condition too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's something very important for people to keep in mind. So if you're listening to this and I don't know, maybe you're someone in your family, you inherited some stuff, you have no idea what it is, always keep in mind the better it looks, the more valuable it is, if there's a value to it.
Reason why I sell the supplies to protect it.
That's right. It's a huge part of it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
For sure. And you'll see on our little table here, this is some of my collectibles that I had because Kevin does stock a lot of this stuff, and we'll start a little bit. I'll show y'all.
But with the rain, I didn't want to be bringing it.
That's right. And I already have mine in here. Yeah. So one of the things you're going to see here, this is a Capital Plastics holder, and anybody in the industry knows Capital Plastics. They're extremely well known, but they make for really nice displays of coins, and they have. They have Capital Plastic holders that are huge, as big as this table.
Yeah, for whole sets and stuff.
Pennies and you name it, they make it. Kevin, if he doesn't stock it in his store, he can sure get it for you and quote you prices on that stuff. But here you see this is a 20th Century Walker's, and it's got a silver eagle in it and a Walking Liberty $50. And these are quite good grades, by the way. That Walking Liberty is probably MS-65, and we're probably talking Chinese to you if you're not in the hobby, but if you are, you know what I mean.
The silver eagles nowadays, what year is this?
I think that's I don't even know if it's 2000. Yeah.
You're looking probably, it's about a $45 coin.
Yeah.
With the way silver's going up.
Which is not bad. Really at all. And I mean, silver fluctuates, y'all. So everything's based off of the spot price plus. So if you see spot prices this amount, well, there's always a premium on top of that. That's how anybody makes money.
Silver is getting super hard to get.
Yeah.
Even the mints going out having to buy silver. So that's what's raising it, and it's raising the premium because the demand is higher than the supply.
Supply and demand, always a big deal when it comes to silver and gold. And we'll talk about that for a second in that, inflation. Inflation right now is a big problem. Okay. Everything you buy at the grocery store nowadays is $3 or $4 higher. I mean, milk is crazy. Eggs are crazy, all these sorts of things. Well, what silver does for you, or gold, if you have a little bit more money and you can invest it in gold, is it hedges against that inflation. So Ron Paul, whom some of you may know, his son is in Congress now, but he was in Congress a long time. He made a point one time in Congress when they had the U.S. Mint was there, and they were talking to him, and he pulled out a silver eagle out of his pocket, and he said, "You can take this silver eagle and you can put it in your pillow right now, and I can pull that same Silver Eagle out in 20 years, and it will buy me the same amount of milk in 20 years that it would buy me today, meaning that the price of that silver will go up if the value of the dollar goes down. And
everything else will go up too.
That's right. So
it's relevant.
40 years ago or 30 years ago, that Silver Eagle might have only been worth $3, let's say, but a gallon of milk was only $3. Well, guess what? If you pulled that out today, you could actually get a heck of a lot more than 1 gallon of milk. But
not much, though.
Not much. You're right. But and that is the kind of the point of it. It's real money and all of those sorts of things. And so those are things that you can learn through collecting coins. So
a lot of people don't realize in the early 2000s. The government made it legal where you could actually insert silver and gold into your 401k.
That's right.
To physical gold and silver.
Yep, that's right. And a very smart thing to do for people.
In a way, yes. In a way, no. Because then somebody else has possession of your
I like physical
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to keep it in your hand, you can't do that.
That's right. That's right. And I like physical stuff because if anything hits the fan, Kevin, I want to make sure that I have it in my hand. You know, I don't want a computer program somewhere to be like, we deleted your inventory.
One thing about, if the dollar bill falls aside, if you go to Jack Smith, he owns a gas station, and he knows what silver's worth, you can take a small silver bar or silver rounds to him and say, hey, 2 of these, will they fill up my gas tank? Yeah. And it's a way of bartering. So that's one thing I like about silver is you can always have something, what the item is worth, then you always have something to barter with.
Right. That's exactly right. And look, I will barter with a lot of people for silver. There's no doubt about it. It's real money. It's the same thing as money, and it holds its value over time, and that's the important thing for me. And anybody invested in the stock market right now wishes that they would have been investing. Oh,
I have
in
people all
silver.
the time cashed in their their retirement plan or their stock market and bought silver.
Yeah,
because they lost too much money.
Yeah. That's right. And by the time they realize it, they're already out something, right? You just want to, and that's not to say, look, I've got some stocks. Not all stocks are bad, but you definitely want to diversify.
Right.
Diversify your portfolio. Have a little bit of stock, have a little bit of coins, have a little bit of everything on that front, and you'll be good. Now, let's talk about your currency for a second. You mentioned, Civil War currency obviously never goes out of style. Confederate currency. You have everything to go along with that, though. So you're going to have the holders for the currency, large note, small note.
Yes, sir.
Fractional currency. All those sorts of things. What about like albums?
Yeah, I carry a full line of albums. All sorts of different holders. I have over 140 different currency supplies.
Very good. And as far as comic books, you have the sleeves that they can be inserted in. These are archival sleeves a lot of times.
But it's not just the sleeves. I have frames where you can hang them on the wall and they're UV protected. So I mean, if you got a proud comic book you can actually hang it on the wall and the sun won't fade it. Yeah, because it's UV protected.
Really, very good. And let me tell you all the importance of that with comic books. So if you don't have UV protection, it's going to yellow it. What'll happen is over time, sunlight or even lights from fluorescent lighting, incandescent lighting will sit on that paper, and it'll be just like a newspaper. Think of a newspaper when you leave it out over time. It turns very yellow. Or you don't want that to happen with your comic books.
Walmart sales receipt, even after 3 or 4 days, the thermal paper starts fading.
That's intentional, by the way. I'm convinced of that. They do that on purpose.
It's because the cashier that you self-checked out didn't do a good job.
That's right. We can laugh about that. We love private business around here. Sorry, Walmart. So the point of all that is, no matter what sort of collectibles that you may be looking for, there's a good chance you have it. And what would you say is the hot thing right now out of all the things you carry? What would you say? Is it the Pokemon stuff or the D&D? I'm sure they're all popular, but
yeah, Pokemon is really hot right now. That and gold and silver.
What about Beanie Babies?
Beanie Babies, there is a market for that.
Is there really?
I do have the boxes and the cylinders for it. It's more nostalgic than there is a big value there.
Everything comes full circle, man.
But the new Beanie Baby is the Fungo Pops.
Really?
Those little bobblehead Fungo Pops.
That's the new
that
Beanie
is
Babies.
the new Beanie Baby, and there's over 20,000 Fungo Pops.
Huh? Who would have figured it? And
maybe they'll make one of you.
Well, let me. There you go. I'm ready. Let me. This is interesting to me, and I see this in the history of collecting. So, like when I was a kid, one memory that sticks out to me more than anything else is the very first game room that opened near my house, and it was close enough to walk to. And I walked to it, and I walked in. I was this is back when times were safer, but I was probably only 10 then. But I go in this game room, and there's Frogger and Pac-Man, and these are the real ones, y'all, from 1983. This is the
stand-up
real
version.
stuff, the stand-up version. And it was all these lights, and I was just blown away. And I can remember that distinctly in my mind. Now, fast forward, I'm 48, almost 49 years old, and I would buy one today to put in here.
Those are collectible. I don't buy those. I don't deal in those.
Yeah.
But they're what they call antique collectibles.
Yeah. And it brings you back to a time. And so the point I'm getting at is, like Beanie Babies, for example, some of those people that are collecting them now were people that may have collected them then, whenever whenever the early 90s, when they were really hot or whatever, and they had the tie and the little tag on there. Those people now are circling around where that brings them back to a time in their life they were happy and they can remember. And so it's funny how all those things come full circle, and you get to see that, more than most.
Right. Yeah, some collectibles are not all about money. It's about, memories and feelings.
Absolutely. It's what makes that hobby such a beautiful hobby. Now, let's talk about the show circuit real quick. So, you didn't have a brick and mortar until now.
Right.
But before that, you were actively involved in the hobby, and that was through shows, right? Shows are a big deal. I met you at a show. There's one coming up we want to mention.
Well, I did have a brick and mortar years ago up in Virginia.
Did you really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
did not know that.
For about 15 years.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Went through some life changes and ended up closing it to move down here.
Yeah, very good. So you started on that show circuit though when you were down here, and there's a big one coming up that we want to mention because this will air on Friday, so it'll be the same weekend that this show is, and that is the Biloxi show. Did they have a name for that, or just called the Biloxi?
Biloxi, Mississippi State Show.
Okay,
it's the
one of the biggest shows in the country. I would venture to say, and you've done that
definitely
one for
the biggest one in Louisiana, Mississippi area.
Yeah, and how many booths you got at that?
I got about 20 tables.
God. You got some stuff to bring, man. That's got to be some work setting all that up. Good grief. Wow, Kevin.
Hopefully I'll be less bringing home.
Yeah, that's the thing. You pull it all out, you put it up, and you think, hopefully when I have to pack up, it's just tables and no stock. Yeah, but a great show, and I've actually been to that show myself in the past. And
it's at the Coliseum there on Beach Boulevard.
That's right, and always a fun time at that one. Have you ever done the one in Orlando, the fun show? Really? You've done that one?
Yep.
Now, I've been to that one, but I've never done it.
Years ago, I've done it and stuff when I lived up in Virginia, but it's just too far of a drive from here.
Yeah.
So,
it's a way, 11 hours just to get there, and you're packing, inventory all that way. It's not like you're going to. I actually went, though, one year. I scheduled a Disney World trip around it, so. It was like, oh, I didn't know they had a coin show this weekend. I snuck off. Yeah. My wife was like, where are you going? I said, coin show. Coin show. Turned this into a write-off. Yep. So, just kidding, IRS. But yeah, that's also another big show that is very popular in the hobby. Now, let's talk about your brick and mortar. So, First of all, you chose Central. No surprise. You're you're not from Central, but you're pretty much from there. You've been there 14 years. Central community been good to you?
Yeah, Central has.
Very good. And I know you're a member of the chamber there, and active in the chamber, so it was kind of a no-brainer. Incidentally, folks, and I'm going to put this in the show notes as well, but 13414 Hooper Road is your address in Central. So you'll be opening up. When's your first day?
Monday.
The
15th.
Monday. So just a couple days after this airs, you'll be good and ready to go and ready to see customers.
We'll be open from 10 to 5.
Monday through
Friday. And then Saturdays by appointment.
So you call, and if you got something you want him to look at, or you're looking to buy some things, he'll walk you through that process.
And the reason I did that is because I do still a lot of shows, so that way I'm not closing 1 or 2 days a week.
Absolutely.
That way I can say, hey, this weekend I can't have appointments.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So they'll be wide open and ready for you though come Monday. So and like I said, we'll put the address and stuff in the show notes. And so you're getting ready for this brick and mortar like any business. A lot of business people watch this show, and red tape. The biggest problem with getting anything up, and it's just something we all have to go through. But it's like, oh, come on. I mean, I got to hang my fire extinguisher on the wall to pass the inspection. I can't just have it sitting on the counter, but nope, they want it on the wall. I can speak from experience on that. So let me get a nail and hang this up for you. So the red tape, that is obviously the biggest hurdle, but you got through that. And as we're talking right now, people are seeing, you sent me a picture of the entrance to your store. So that should be popping up right here. And then, as we've been talking about all these collectibles that you keep, those are going to be popping up during this. So I say all that to say this, y'all, if you're listening to the audio version, go to YouTube, watch the video version, because you're going to actually see pictures of some of the things that we've been talking about during this particular podcast.
And out by the road, I got a big marquee sign that says K&M Collectables. So it's driving down the road. It's
Can't miss it. Can't miss it. If you miss it,
yellow.
If you miss it, Kevin will chase you down. He'll be running behind you, throwing coins at your car. So, you ended up opening this brick and mortar, and you were seeing success on the show circuit, right? You were. It wasn't like you couldn't make it work, and this was just a step to trying to make it work. You were making it work. What kind of led you to just go for it and open a brick and mortar?
Just the love of the hobby.
Yeah. And a hole in the market.
Exactly.
Honestly, here locally.
Especially, with right now, I've bought so much coins and silver and stuff because people are hurting for money.
Yeah.
So, I was by appointment only and working out of an office.
Yeah.
Now this will, they can just come to me Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. No appointment necessary. Just walk in and be able to sell me stuff if they need cash.
Yeah.
Well, not really cash, because in Louisiana you can pay by check.
Yeah.
They need a paper trail, but
that's right.
It's good as cash.
What about like if someone has scrap gold, broke jewelry?
Yeah,
buy that.
I buy that.
Broke silver.
Yep.
So he buys all that too. So you can bring. If you got some old necklaces, you'd be surprised what they might be worth if, he's got testers there. He's going to make sure that it's silver or that it's gold. And if it turns out that it is, you get some scrap gold pricing and you'd be surprised what you can get.
What's really popular is the old silver flatware.
Yeah.
That your grandmother may have left you or whatever.
That's right.
People are a lot cashing that in.
That's right. So if you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth, bring it up there. Kevin will buy it from you. There's no problem at all. And so but very important to mention, because that's something that right now, there's nothing wrong with pawn shops and people go to them, but they don't specialize in this stuff, right? I mean, you specialize in it. There's that's a difference to me. And bring your kids by if they're not familiar with collecting. He'll introduce them. And if you're not familiar with it, if they watch Pokemon or whatever, but they don't understand the collectible value of those things. These are things that these shops give you that you can't get by just watching YouTube or whatever.
Right.
So something very important to mention on that front. Now you're doing a ribbon cutting coming up on the 10th of June.
Right.
With the Central Chamber of Commerce. Them folks, good folks over there.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. And I know some former Central Chamber folks that very good friends of mine and good people over there at the Central Chamber of Commerce. Now, so let's talk about social media, and let's talk about the ways that you have been able to use not only social media but also websites and outside of your own in order to assist customers no matter how they may purchase something. For example, Amazon. Let's take that. Amazon is something that you have used for a while as an outlet to sell.
Right. I have an Amazon store. I have an eBay store, plus my website.
Yeah, and you also have a big social media presence. So you're on Insta.
Right.
You're on Facebook. You're on, obviously, eBay, as we mentioned.
Facebook,
Amazon.
I have a page, K&M Coin and Currency Supplies, like me on there. And then also have K&M Collectables, a Facebook page on there.
And what's the difference in them two Facebook pages?
One is talking about the collectibles,
Gotcha.
the coins, the currency and stuff.
Yeah.
The other one is just strictly supplies.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can go on there and give them a like on Facebook. We want to see that jump after this podcast. And that way I can take all the credit for it, Kevin.
All right.
Because I see you built your page.
Yeah.
And of course, your website, as we talked about earlier, you can buy coins directly off of there, but you do eBay as well for you folks that may be, strictly eBayers. I mean, the great thing about what you're doing, and when I really dug deep into your business, is that you really are coming full circle now with however people like to buy. A lot of people, when they're dealing with their silver and their gold and their hobby stuff, they want to do that face to face.
Right.
They want to see the coin.
That's what pushed this, the brick and mortar building is, coins on the internet are so hard to do because people want to, there's so
Touch
much
'em,
fakes out there. There's so much fakes, and people are overgrading stuff and all that.
Yes.
That, are clean coins or whatever. So that's the reason, the people want to hold it in their hand to look at before they put out that money.
That's right. And I'll tell you this as well. With the camera technology now, you can make a coin look dang good and then get it in the mail. It's happened to me. And it may grade what they said it graded, but it sure didn't look as nicely toned in person as it did on that picture. What they did was they played with it a little bit and made those golds and pinks pop in that.
Now you're really confusing people because they don't know what toning
they have no idea, but we're going to explain it to them.
Yeah.
Great thing about a podcast. So y'all, what toning is. And I don't know how well this will show up on camera, but I'm going to grab this one because it's a little bit better. So this is a Canadian dollar from 1972. Hopefully y'all can see that. And I'm going to kind of tilt it just like that. And what you're going to see, hopefully, is you're going to see a little bit of coloration in that coin.
Well, it is a silver oxidation.
Yep.
That's
right.
The air and the atmosphere or whatever, it brings yellows, blues, purples.
Makes them pop.
On the coins.
I like that. I consider that art. There are some collectors that say that's corrosion and they don't like it. I'm sure you've heard that. And I look at them like they got three heads and I'm like, well, then I'll buy it if you don't want to buy it. That's a great thing about this particular hobby is everybody has their own taste, you know, and I personally love tone coins. I know some people that want to do what they call dipping in the hobby. Every single tone coin they have.
I
and I'm like, you're crazy, don't do that.
Different coin cleaners, coin dips and stuff, because I have a lot of customers that do metal detecting.
Yeah.
And, if a coin's been in the ground for, 200 years, they might not even be able to see what type of coin it is. So they need something to clean that corrosion off and stuff. So I carry a wide variety of stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Something for everybody, really. And just about every hobby as well. Let me ask you, because you and I talked off camera about this, but you're a coin collector. That of all the things that you sell, your favorite is coins and currency, right?
Yes, sir.
And so I'm going to ask you a question from each. So as far as coins are concerned, what is your favorite to collect?
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper? A woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver. I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Morgan's.
Me too. Morgan dollars. If y'all don't know what that is, shame on you. But we're going to make one pop up right now so you can see what a Morgan dollar looks like. Absolutely beautiful coins, and mine as well. What about currency? Anything in the Civil War?
No, some of the earlier large notes are really pretty. Some the what they call the silver dollar note actually has a picture of the Morgan on the back.
Yep, I love
the Martha
those.
Washington's, the educational series, all that is so pretty. And it's artwork. All that was done by hand.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the money is printed, or the dies for the money is printed by a computer. And it makes the old money look, like artwork.
It is artwork. And for me, it'd be the porthole. The porthole is my favorite probably piece of currency ever as far as U.S. currency. And Mexico currency from back in the day was very colorful.
Yeah, and they had large notes too.
They had large notes as well. And so I had gotten to a point in the currency side of what I collected where I was seeking out specifically currency from Mexico because, man, back in the day they made some, and really their coins, their coins from back in the day were just absolutely beautiful. Their silver pesos and stuff like that were really well made and just beautiful coins. So I don't know what it is about Mexico, but I always like their currency and their coins outside of the United States.
Yeah, I got 2 Mexican pieces in right now. Actually, one Mexican, one Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
They're from the early 1800s.
Oh, wow.
Silver pieces.
Really?
And they bring a couple hundred a piece.
You should have brought one of those with you. Actually, I'm glad you didn't. I'd probably be giving you one of these mics. Yeah. Look, I trade you a mic.
I don't collect mics.
That's right. So that's interesting as well. So you do deal in some world currency and world coins also. Very good.
Yes,
Look at that, y'all. A little bit for all of y'all. So how about promotions, things like that? We talked about your code that you have online for anyone you want to pick something up. And obviously, if you're picking it up, you're not going to get charged shipping. You just put pick up in the description. Are you planning on doing anything for like your grand opening? Any sort of?
There's going to be some grab bags. There's going to be some other things going on. Probably for the next month and stuff. When kids come in, I bought a big collection of sports cards. I'm going to be giving them some sports cards, common type stuff, just to, let them know where we're at. Absolutely.
So look for that. And I'm going to give you that address again, y'all. It's 13414 Hooper Road. He's going to be open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday by appointment. And you can go on if you want to preview some of his stuff online that he has, you can go to BayouCoinSupplies.com. That's his website. And we want you to go, if you're local, we want you to go into the storefront and check it. He'd like to meet you, I'm sure, and say hello on there. You're going to be. Let's talk about your shows for a second. So you're going to be in Biloxi for the Biloxi show. Anything else coming up?
The next weekend, I'm in Gonzales at the gun show.
Yeah,
I have a table there selling bullion and coins and stuff.
Very good. So he'll be in Gonzales.
And then I'm in town a weekend, and I'm in Birmingham, Alabama at a Comic-Con.
Wow, man, you world traveler over here. You go. How many shows did you go to? Average
years ago, I was doing about 52 shows a year.
What?
Now I'm down to because I'm older. I'm down to probably 25.
Wow, that's still a lot of gas.
But it's because I love people. I love meeting people and seeing the different parts of the country.
Yeah, very good.
Years ago, when I was traveling the coin circuit and doing all the different shows. There's only 2 states I've never been in, Washington and California.
Yeah.
I've been in every state, the continental U.S.
Yeah.
But those 2.
Very interesting.
In California, if you buy something in California 20 years ago and you sell it in Virginia, California wants their tax.
Really?
Because you bought it in their state. So that's the reason I never went there.
I don't blame you.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man, they've got some crazy rules in California. Yep. That's they're their own country over there. I think sometimes, but very interesting that you've been just about everywhere else. Wow, that's an accomplishment. And so you're doing a bunch of those shows, but you'll be back here. And if you're curious, like he said, that's why he does appointment only on Saturdays, is he may be at a show. He may not be in town.
Definitely check us out. But my phone number for the shop is going to be 225-250-5361. Chances are, if I'm not at a show, I'm going to be in town and I'll probably be open. So even though I'm by appointment only, if I'm in town, I'll probably be open that Saturday for, 10 to 3 or something like that, not a full day.
Very good, very good, and but he'll stay there a full day. If you're in there, he ain't kicking you out.
No.
He ain't gonna kick you out. So that's good as well. And look, we can't stress it enough. Bring your family by. It's a family fun atmosphere. It's going to be over there at K&M, and he can educate you or whoever on whatever hobby they're interested in as far as collecting is concerned. Let's talk stamps for a second. So stamps way back in the day were super popular. Like they were as popular as coin collecting. Currency collecting probably at that stage wasn't even that big a deal. People spent currency. They didn't want to collect it, right? and at some point somebody saw some value in that, and everybody started wanting to collect currency. But stamps kind of have their ups and downs, but you also have some very loyal collectors in the stamp industry, I would say.
And it's more of an older hobby. I've noticed that, more of my stamp customers and, the people that buy the supplies are older generation.
Yeah.
Not young teens or whatever, but it's the older generation.
Right. And back in the day, they had cool stamps. I mean, it was, now it's.
Yeah, that Forever stamp is killed the market for new collectibles, but the old stuff is still quite collectible. I
have one. I don't know if it's worth anything, but it's an upside down airplane, and everybody. No, I'm kidding.
You're just holding the stamp upside down.
That's what it is. Look, it is. It's upside down.
All the writing is upside down. Yeah.
For those of you that may not know, that's like a very valuable stamp. So yeah, that. Stamp collecting though is very loyal, and I would imagine at your shows you see a lot of the same people at each show, right? Like you've become good friends with probably a lot of these people.
Yeah, and a lot of dealers. I have a wide variety of dealers that I work with. So, if I don't have in stock what you're looking for, chances are I can find somebody that does, and I can get it in for you.
Yeah, very important to keep in mind. So if you're someone and you're missing that 1916D Mercury dime, and that's the only one you need, and for those of you that don't know, that's the key date in that Mercury dime collection. If you don't have it, he could probably track you one down. As a matter of fact, I know he could. So very important that's the importance of really personal relationships that you have with people when you're in that hobby, especially when you're talking big money. You want someone you can trust, right? And trust is the key.
Exactly. And that's the reason I like doing the shows, for the years, because I got to know what dealers I could trust that would price things right. It would grade coins right, so that I could call them and say, hey, you have this. What type of grade is it? And they would ship it to me and have it for the customer. And I could trust them.
Very important. And trust from a standpoint of, hey, if I bring something, if I'm someone that knows nothing of coins and I were to bring you this and I were to say, Kevin, I don't know what this is. I inherited it. How much is this worth? It'd be real easy for Kevin to take that and look at it and say, $3. Or he could be honest and say what it's worth. Now, this ain't $1 million. It's beautiful, though. It's freaking Abe Lincoln, for Christ's sakes. But he's going to give you a straight up price. He's going to give you, what the going value on buying that is going to be. That's important with dealers. I had a customer bring in some bunch of Morgans to me the other day.
He took them by a pawn shop, and I'm not going to say the name or whatever of the pawn shop, but he took him by a pawn shop. I'm not even sure where it was. Yep. And they were going to give him $2, $3 a piece for him. A piece? And, and he knew because of silver, he knew that was wrong. So he ended up taking them back and bringing them to me, and he got quite a bit more.
Yeah, that's bad. And they're probably like, well, that's 3 times face value. Oh, Lord, that's bad. Yeah, make sure that you're dealing with, we call those reputable dealers in the industry. And look, there are some shops, whether it be pawn shops or whatever, that maybe they'll give you scrap silver on something that may be worth a lot more because they don't know.
But it's all based on condition.
Yeah, it is. It is. So it's not to say, like Kevin said, it's not to pick on one particular industry, but if they're not experts in it, they're going to give you what they know they can sell it for. And so they're looking at a coin that may be the most, a Carson City Morgan, for example, which almost in any condition is worth some good money. And they may be looking at that and saying, well, I mean, scrap silver is $20 an ounce or whatever it is, $30 an ounce. I'm going to give them $30. Not because they're trying to be dishonest. They just don't know. They're not in the industry.
Right.
Kevin is. So he's going to tell you, well, that's worth $80 or whatever if it's a Carson City.
I sit there and watch those TV shows online, the Pawn Stars and stuff out in Las Vegas, and they bring somebody will bring something in, and they get the appraiser in, and it's this, and then they go, "Oh, it's automatically half."
Yeah.
With me, it's not that way. I tell you up front what the item is worth. And I pay 80% of the value.
Yeah.
So I make, when it sells, if it sells next week or if it sells 10 years from now, I make 20%.
Yeah.
So that's as fair as I can be.
That's fair. Yeah. No complaints there. And so check them out, y'all. I wish we had a bell. We need a bell in here to say new location, but brand new and location for you, and the only location for you. Your first brick and mortar. Who knows? Maybe you'll have a chain of these, Kevin, before it's over with. But we are glad to have an option for those of us in the hobby that we can go to and just look, man. You'd be surprised how many people are just going to come hang out.
From Deming Springs, it's just right over the Magnolia Bridge.
That's it.
So, I mean, it's
hop,
very
skip,
close.
and a jump. You always throw a baseball from here and reach it. Well, maybe if you're Ben McDonald or somebody. Yeah. But yeah, not far away at all. What we're going to do is we're going to put in the show notes of this episode, I'm going to put the address, I'm going to have the hours, I'm going to have all the information you need. So if you listen to this, which a lot of people listen to this on the way to and from work, no worries. We're going to put it all in the description. Don't forget to watch the YouTube video, and you'll see some of the cool stuff.
In the description, because I want people to, be able to call me if they need advice.
That's right. It's Kevin Keithley. Give him a call, and he can answer any question you want. If you've got coins and you don't know the value, This happens all the time, y'all. People inherit things, or they're cleaning out, grandparents' stuff, and they come across things. They have no idea what they're worth. Take it from me. I'm a voucher for Kevin, and I will tell you he's going to be honest with you on your stuff. So you can go to his store, and he'll be straight up and honest with you on the value. He'll be straight up and honest with you on what he'll pay for it, and get you taken care of on that front. So. You have fun, man. Believe it or not, we've been going almost an hour.
Oh man, that's
I'm
fantastic.
telling you, it flies, don't it?
And that's one thing, dealing with me or any other small business, is, let's say you have a big collection in a bank.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll even go for a small fee. I'll go to the bank and appraise it for you.
Yeah.
And I've sat in many a bank vaults with the client and actually appraised collections or whatever with lawyers or whatever if it's an inheritance.
Absolutely.
And instead of bringing it to me, I'll come to you.
Yeah, and
for
look,
a fee.
You may need it appraised. Obviously, a fee. I mean, he's got to be compensated for his time.
But I mean, a lot of people need it for an insurance writer because a lot of people don't
That's
realize that their average homeowner's
does
insurance
not
does
cover
not cover silver and gold and stuff. So they have to have a separate rider.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And I found that out years after I had insurance. I was just talking to my agent one day, and I mentioned I have, at that point, not saying I have that now, y'all, because I keep all that in a vault. I don't keep it at my house anymore. But I had a large collection at my house, and he's like, you don't have any insurance on that. And I'm like, yeah, they got homeowners. And he says, no, you don't. You got to have a separate rider for that. You got to have an endorsement. And it's same thing with like furs.
Or or antique furniture.
Furs, but
antique furniture. If it's my wife's family's got a Anwar from Huey P. Long.
Yeah.
That they bought out of the mansion.
Yeah.
And they have a special rider on that because it's quite valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. And with people from here, look, we know what floods are like, and people from Central too. And so you better have everything
that'll never happen
everything
in our
you
lifetime,
hold dear
hopefully.
Insured.
That'll
hopefully
never happen in our lifetime again.
Yeah, God, I hope so, Kevin. I hope so. So thank you for coming on, man. Good luck on your new business.
Definitely. I expect you to come by.
I will come by. I'll come by, and I'll even buy something from you. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll spend some money with you. But I will definitely be coming by there and checking it out. If you have any more questions, refer to the description. I'm going to have all kinds of stuff in there. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman, reminding you, love your community, support local business, just like K&M Collectables, and keep leading. Thanks for coming on.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Every day, my company gets scam phishing emails trying to get money or sensitive info. I wanted to protect my employees and my clients, so I checked out CISA's Secure Our World. They've got simple ways we can protect our businesses from online threats. First, teach employees to recognize and report phishing. Next, require strong passwords plus multi-factor authentication. And finally, turn on automatic updates for your business software. To learn more, go to CISA at cisa.gov/Secure Our World.